Tonight, when the sun goes down, you might smell it before it even arrives. A sharp, earthy scent that cuts through the dry air. Your lungs expand. Your heart rate slows down. A deep sense of calm washes over your entire body. Humans everywhere share this exact biological reaction. We absolutely love the smell of rain. But why do we feel comfort from a simple chemical reaction in the dirt? Roughly 1 in 10 humans has a heightened sensitivity to this scent, and that ratio has held for a long time. It is not an accident. We evolved this trait because our own survival depended directly on it. Long before modern water systems, finding moisture meant life or death. Your brain is hardwired to chase this scent across miles of barren land. In 1964, 2 Australian researchers named Isabel and Richard Thomas wanted to know exactly what this smell was. They locked themselves in a lab with mounds of dry clay and rocks. They baked the rocks. They distilled the oils. They finally isolated a golden, aromatic fluid. They gave it a name that sounds like an ancient myth, petrichor. The word comes from the Greek petra, meaning stone, and ichor, the ethereal fluid that flowed through the veins of the gods. But stones do not bleed. So where does the liquid actually come from? The secret lies hidden deep within the soil. During long periods of drought, plants secrete natural oils into the surrounding earth. They do this for a highly specific reason. They need to signal to their own seeds to stop growing. When water is scarce, new life is a death sentence. The oils act as a biological brake pedal, keeping the seeds dormant in the dust. The stones and dirt absorb these oils like a sponge, holding them under the blazing sun. But plants are only half of the biological equation. There is a microscopic monster living in the dirt right beneath your feet. It is a tiny bacterium called actinomycetes. To survive the brutal heat of summer, these bacteria produce specialized spores. Inside those spores is a volatile compound called geosmin. The word literally translates to earth smell. When you smell rain, you are actually smelling the waste products of a microscopic civil war happening in the soil. Why is our nose so incredibly sensitive to this specific bacterial byproduct? The human nose can detect geosmin at an astonishingly low concentration. We can pick it up at just 5 parts per trillion. To put that into perspective, sharks are famous for detecting 1 drop of blood in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. The human nose is 200,000 times more sensitive to geosmin than a shark is to blood. If you dropped a single teaspoon of geosmin into an Olympic pool, you could still easily smell it. We are practically bloodhounds for the scent of wet dirt. But a scent trapped inside the soil cannot reach your nostrils on its own. It needs a delivery mechanism. It needs a trigger. That trigger is the raindrop. In 2015, scientists at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology used high-speed cameras to film raindrops hitting porous surfaces. They discovered something mesmerizing. When a raindrop lands on parched soil, it traps tiny pockets of air underneath it. These air pockets instantly rush upward through the droplet, forming microscopic bubbles. The bubbles pop violently at the surface. When they burst, they shoot an invisible cloud of liquid aerosols high into the air. Think of it like a giant, global bottle of champagne being uncorked all at once. The falling rain acts as a natural piston, pumping the trapped petrichor and geosmin straight out of the dirt and into the wind. The wind carries these tiny aerosol particles miles ahead of the actual storm front. That is why you can smell a storm long before the first drop hits your windshield. Your ancestors smelled that exact same chemical warning system. For a caveman living 300,000 years ago, that scent was a cosmic dinner bell. Imagine a band of early Homo sapiens wandering through a barren savanna. The grass is yellow. The water holes have turned to cracked mud. Dehydration is setting in. The tribe is moving closer to biological collapse with every hour. Then, the wind shifts. A faint trace of geosmin hits the leader's nose. His brain instantly lights up with dopamine. The signal is unmistakable. Water is nearby. Vegetation will bloom there in 48 hours. Animals will gather there to drink. Life is waiting just over the horizon. The tribe alters its course, tracking the scent through the darkness. The individuals who could smell the rain survived the drought. The individuals who were nose-blind died in the dust. Are we just modern animals still tracking water holes through our concrete jungles? The connection goes even deeper than simple survival. Anthropologists studying indigenous tribes in Western Australia discovered that the Pintupi people use the scent of rain as a psychological tool. They mapped their entire landscape not by landmarks, but by the memory of scents. To them, the smell of petrichor is synonymous with hope and renewal. It is a universal human truth. But nature never gives away a free meal without a hidden catch. The very bacteria that produce geosmin, the actinomycetes, do not make this chemical just to help humans find water. They are using us. The scent attracts tiny soil creatures called springtails. The springtails eat the bacteria, and in doing so, they spread the bacterial spores to new, fertile ground. We are simply eavesdropping on a conversation between a primitive microbe and an insect. We have romanticized a biological evacuation plan. Every time you step outside after a summer storm and take a deep, satisfying breath, you are performing a ritual that is millions of years old. You are not just enjoying the weather. You are experiencing the exact same rush of relief that saved your ancestors from extinction on the African savanna. Your DNA remembers the drought, even if your mind has forgotten it. We invented umbrellas and built roofs because we wanted to escape the wilderness. But our bodies still crave the scent of the wild. So, the next time the sky turns gray and the air turns sweet, do not run inside. Stand still for just 2 seconds. Take a breath. Listen to the ancient code wired into your nervous system. After all, aren't we all just children of the dust, waiting for the storm to bring us back to life?